When considering distribution, we have to look at the different aspects that emerge from the term. In essence, it is the process of launching a film into the marketplace and gaining public interest in the film itself. They may also represent your film at film festivals or meat markets, but in other areas can deal with the DVD distributors. The rivalry in distribution is heightened during different times of the year, and more companies have structures and marketing plans for each individual film. Universally, the distribution game is controlled by the major companies such as Paramount Pictures and Warner Brothers. Each company takes on a certain number of films each year and can create a plan for those films. They have many responsibilities, but the main ones are deciding how many prints to produce and in what cinema to screen them, confirming a release date, how to advertise the movie, artwork for flyers, billboards and posters, personal interviews, press interviews and personal appearances. Key elements of distribution involve how and when the film should be released. We all have to take into account our key audience members and when they will be most available. Certain times of the year and the chance of other films being released at the same time as yours can cause a negative impact on the sales of the film in the box office. Releasing films during the summer, Easter or Christmas holidays can cause a boost in the film's sales, hence the creation and sticking ability of the summer blockbuster. There are many areas of circulation which have dramatically increased in the new digital era. Not only can you get films on DVD and Blu-ray, but also the amount of online sources that you can now download films, such as LoveFilm and iTunes, has increased immensely. Concentrating on cinema alone, the distribution companies know how to market the film to get the greatest audience and decide how many cinemas it will be shown in. It varies with every project, but sometimes films can get pre-released, then put on general release. These terms can also be known as a saturation release or an art house release. Knowing how successful the film could potentially be can cause a bigger profit financially, but there are always surprises in these areas, commonly known as the sleeper hit. Release windows are decreasing within the world of film as more people who want to access the movie as soon as possible. And with new access to entertainment online, these windows will continue to grow, making the cinema decrease possible. With so many different factors to contend with, marketing is always crucial in how the film is being promoted. Sometimes it can cost as much as making the film, but the power of word of mouth and creating hype around the film is essential to any key marketing aspects. As with any product, the potential buyer needs to know where they can access it and have to be persuaded to see it. When creating marketing around a certain project, it can have a unique selling point that will entice people to come and visit. Planning a marketing campaign can be difficult, and there are many factors which have to be taken into consideration. They will look for the unique selling point and then discover whether the links to the story, the genre, the stars, and what the key elements of that story are. It's extremely important because this will influence the way a campaign is put out together. From here, budgeting comes into the marketing quite quickly. Posters are an old age method of creating publicity about any film, but they are tactful in what they put in a poster. They may have a key image which will be shown in the film, a difference to another film with a slogan which makes you remember it, or some blockbusters mainly use teaser posters. Posters are about sharing a specific moment within the film which makes you want to see more. They pick up on the terms concerning the narrative and the themes of the film and can connect with an audience through one image. Trailers are often played before the film, which relate to the key audience on show. Through making awareness of the film with an audience, it has that title in their minds. Trailer creates the desire to see the film when it opens. Marvel recently, to promote their ever-growing Avengers series, have been putting prologues at the end of their films to indicate a new one. Even people who may not have been that concerned about seeing a certain Avenger may visit to see the information about the next one. And no one can undermine the achievement of social networking now, and a lot of film use this to their advantage. Teasing certain images and creating a stir about the project can cost a lot less than producing a lot of posters. It's also apparent that a certain tweet may be seen by hundreds more people than cinema posters themselves. This is a key marketing tool now, and one that needs to be seen in the future. Exhibition is to display film and moving images. Moving away from the production side of filmmaking, it concerns the showing of films primarily in cinemas. It can also include the showing of films at film festivals, but we have to see the different types of cinema and how to create a viewer interest. There are two types of cinema in the UK. These are the multiplexes and independent cinemas. They rent the films from a distributor for an agreed amount of time for a film on general release. During this time, the exhibitioners observe the market and decide on what films that will match their target audience and the cinema's criteria. By giving space to distribution in the foyers. Oh, can I just start again? Yeah. Okay. Sorry for that.
It's alright.
Exhibition is to display film and moving images. Moving away from the production side of filmmaking, it concerns the showing of films primarily in cinemas. It can also include the showing of films in film festivals, but we have to see the different types of cinema and see what creates amazing viewer interest. There are two types of cinema in the UK. These are the multiplexes and the independents. They rent the films from a distributor for an agreed amount of time for a film on general release. During this time, the exhibitors observe the market and decide on what films will match their target audience and their cinema, and eventually make them money. By giving space to distribution in the foyers, it means they can present posters and flyers for up-and-coming movies. Currently, during the digital age, distribution can begin to get cheaper, but some think that this poses a risk to film reels. A good analogue film projector produces a crisp image, but can get damaged quite quickly. A digital projector produces a high-quality image and never loses that image and can be played 1,000 times. And it is easier to transport this from the distributor to the exhibitor, hence reducing costs. But piracy this way becomes a lot easier to gain access to, hence films being pirated more than ever. Film festivals are a key way to exhibit any film you've created. There are different tiers of film festivals, and the big ones that everyone tries to aim for. These are known as Sundance, Cannes, Berlin International and Raindance. The strategies to target festivals will be different for every film, and they continue to evolve as the festivals do. They can be an effective way of making awareness of a film, but you have to be careful about how you approach it. Prestige attached to getting a festival can be brilliant, but it's about taking a step further and gaining a distribution deal from this. Using my experience at a film festival, I could see how these skills play in. I visited Sheffield Dot Fest last year to experience a festival firsthand. It seemed very daunting because the place is so big and there are so many different venues. It was key to visit the right areas at the correct times, and they seem to have a very good mapping system about how to get to each event. Festivals are an experience not just to see the films, but networking is key. After parties and casual events, I found very exciting as I got to interact with fellow filmmakers and meet people I wouldn't normally cross paths with. The great thing about Sheffield Dot Fest was the ability to go from workshops, which helped you out as a filmmaker, as well as watch the films on offer. There were bad elements of the festival, and this was purely down to supply and demand for some of the films, which was very difficult. They were only being shown at one point at one time, and I had to sit on the floor to watch a film. While attending, I managed to volunteer on the meat market, a place where filmmakers look for funding in relation to exhibition and distribution. This was an engaging experience. It taught me how many filmmakers are looking for money in such a competitive market, as well as it can be there to break or make your project for securing these deals. Some were looking for £100,000, some were looking for just £2,000. During this time, people who hadn't even managed to gain a meat market deal would wait for the producers and distributors outside and try and come and talk to them and gain access to them, showing just how powerful and important they are in the film industry and the individuals within it. Throughout the festival, the vibrance was key, and the show of work that was available was very impressive. Personally, it was an amazingly organised event that seemed to be a hub of creative individuals looking for somewhere to showcase their work, which some succeeded in doing. A film which I saw trying to gain funding and distribution, called Just Do It, was later played at my local cinema, where in turn the key distribution exhibition criteria comes forward. It was then shown at many festivals afterwards, securing the funding that it needed.